I feel like I've spent the majority of my life proving people wrong, always finding myself in situations against the odds, working twice as hard to get anywhere. I was born a worker bee, someone who is always moving. I do not understand nor experience boredom ever. There is always something to do, even if that something is nothing. I'm a determined person, some would say stubborn. When I set my mind on it, it's game over. No convincing me otherwise, and I will always be that way. Old news. We are heading into our third winter of RV life in the Cape Breton wilderness. The first couple years felt very foreign, I'm not gonna lie. We had to climatize to altitude. We unknowingly picked the windiest place in Canada to park our RV and surprisingly had to truly fight against the odds and our instincts to adapt to the East Coast pace. But now, snuggled right in, prepared for everything, and after plenty of wilderness experience, it's more normal than ever for us to live this way.
How many times have I fallen for you? Every promise you never delivered. How many times all the words that you said had me mixing the sweet with the bitter? But I know what you're saying, don't need no explaining. You're making me shake and shiver. You shine in your shoes, but hey, I got news. I ain't falling for all of that glitter this time. As ready as I can be this time. I'll be running free.
I turned 45 years old about 2 weeks after we arrived here to our unseen land. It was like going back in time to my childhood when I would play in the woods, build forts, and make mud pies for dinner. We were truly at ground zero with many eyes on us, wondering how and if we would survive. It's so weird back then, Mooch and I never ever looked back to our previous life in Ontario. We never even came close to giving up. In fact, it was the opposite for us. Yes, it was hard work, it was daunting, but we thrive here. We feel at home here. We are bonded to this land. We were in love with our new life the minute it began.
I've been afraid to go out in the night just to follow my deepest desire. How many times did I call it a day, leaving all of my hopes in the fire? I know what you're saying, don't need no explaining. You're making me shake and shiver. You shine in your shoes, but hey, I got news. I ain't falling for all of that glitter this time. As ready as I can be this time. I'll be running free, 'cause my heart is rising. I'm taking it step by step. I'm running and running. I'm not slowing down just yet. This time, as ready as I can be. This time, I'll be running free.
There are obvious risks to going on a limb and purchasing unseen land. Not only had we never set foot on our land before we bought it, we had actually never set foot on Cape Breton Island at all. So why Cape Breton? People ask us all the time. And honestly, friends, I have no idea. We wanted lakefront, we wanted forest, we wanted off the beaten path, and we wanted privacy. We searched all over Ontario, focusing more north, but nothing fluttered honored our hearts or checked our boxes, and we had a budget, and it was deflating our bubble every time we browsed real estate. Then one day, out of the blue, Mooch asked me, "Would you move out of province?" I thought for a moment and said, "Yes, I think I would." He reminded me of his friend who he worked with on the oil rigs of Alberta. This friend of his was from Newfoundland, but he married a girl from Cape Breton and chose to relocate there to start his life with her. Over the years, this friend would share a lot of photos with Mooch, and in turn would share them with me. I went gaga goo goo over the pics, but never really gave them much more thought until that moment. I asked to see them again, and I just felt it. That's where we need to be, and the rest is history. You can scroll back through my earlier videos to really get a sense of our relocating experience as it happened, but for today I just want to share some of the hurdles we've jumped over the last couple years and some surprising twists we didn't expect or prepare for moving to our land in the woods. In no particular order, here are the top 10. The first is obvious. Hand to heart, I'm super serious when I say I was completely shocked at the magnitude of the beauty here. Pictures and videos do not do this place justice. It's gobsmackingly gorgeous landscape. In my mind's eye, I can still picture the moment I came through our little village harbor for the first time. We drove around the bend over the bridge, and I was hit with this first massive mountain view straight in front of us. It hovered over so massive I had to stick my head out the window just to see the whole thing. I was like, whoa, look at that mountain. Quick side note, a man friend had been to our land once before to bring a small load of items and to do a preliminary walk around before we hauled our entire life there. So he already knew what we were going into. He kept his lips sealed even though I begged and begged for pictures or videos or at least a full description, and he would just say, "Nope. You can wait." And I would ask a million questions and he would just respond, "You'll see." It kind of drove me crazy, but he wanted me to have that shock value. And looking back now, I'm so thankful he did that for me. I had done some research, but didn't get too in depth because we had already purchased the land. So there was no going back anyways, even if I had discovered in my research that we made a horrible mistake. "Wait," I squealed, "is that Squirrel Mountain?" He just smiled that Mooch smile. "Welcome home," he said. "That's your new backyard." So the number one surprising twist, we bought a stunning piece of land in paradise, the most beautiful land I'd ever seen in my life. Now, the rest of the list is more practical because arriving here was only the beginning, and now we actually have to survive. It was off-grid, there was no water, no septic, no buildings. We purchased an RV and arranged for it to be delivered the day after we arrived. Number 2 on the list, we unknowingly moved to the windiest place in Canada. You've heard me talk about the lay sweats. Well, they are no joke. A Cat 5 hurricane force wind that targets our area specifically, and most often in the spring and the fall when the pressure changes. We were here less than a month when we lived through our first lay sweat. It lasted about 2 days, and the locals said at the time it was the worst one they'd had in a long while. Trees were blowing sideways, our RV was swaying with each gust, and reports of a transport truck that blew off the road just beyond our lake was swirling around. Extremely terrifying when you do not expect it. When the wind died down after that first lay sweat, we had to arrange for a truck to come and push back our RV about 5 feet because the nose was sticking out a little too far into the driveway where the worst of the wind flies through. That was a huge day because we had to unanchor the RV, jack it up, pull back the little deck that Mooch built, and clear the brush behind to tuck it in a little tighter. Once moved, we took that opportunity to add more anchors, making it super duper extra secure in its new spot. We also quickly built a shed to store our belongings because we had a shelter logic at the time, and as you can imagine, a shelter logic is a big fat joke during a lay sweat. We learned quickly to build up our land and maintain it as if a Cat 5 hurricane could arrive at any time. And that was very good information to have under our belt because certainly it can happen on the regular. As a weather geek, I became hyper-focused on this lace wet phenomenon, a powerful storm unique to this part of Canada. I went from terrified of them to madly in love. Mother Nature blindsided me with this surprise twist to our new lifestyle. It could have been the stress of everything, or the altitude, or the winds, or the small space of the RV, or all the above, but Mooch and I both felt very queasy and dizzy for about 6 months after we arrived here. The RV did take some time to adjust to. I was actually surprised at night when I would drift off to sleep and I could hear the rumblings of a plane flying by, and in the morning hearing the birds chirping as if I was sleeping outside. I actually secretly liked it. It felt like we were camping, and it still does feel like that if I'm being honest. We didn't really do anything to treat the vertigo. After a certain amount of time, it just slowly started to go away. So number 3 on the list, vertigo. And very quickly, number 4, we were very surprised actually at how difficult it is to get any sort of supplies to do any building projects in our area. Now, just like track 5 on a Taylor Swift album, number 5 is personal and meaningful to me. Back in Ontario, I had a self-made walking trail through our neighbor's field and back bush. It wasn't a wilderness trail by any means, but it was a very beautiful and peaceful nature trail in the country, hidden away from the real world, surrounded by farmland. It was about 1 kilometer in a loop that I would walk multiple times a day. And when we bought this land, the only thing on my checklist was enough forest for a hiking trail. The months, weeks, then days leading up to our move, my stomach was in knots with excitement about walking our land.
I could never settle down too far away from my hometown. With my family I am bound. I stick by them till I'm in the ground. Resting on the myth of old, all of the stories I've been told. Secret places hidden well are gone now as far as I can tell.
Never in my wildest dreams could I have ever imagined the actual trails that I would be hiking. Not only my very own self-made private land trail, which on its own would have been so completely fulfilling, but mountain hiking from my back step. Come on, what? Endless, and I mean endless, deep wilderness trails right in my backyard. Plus neighboring Highland Park trails by the dozens. I mean, I could hike nonstop for the rest of my life and still not explore it all. This place is literally a hiker's dreamland, and I didn't even know it. And that brings me to number 6, which goes along with the hiking a little bit, and that is my love for the lake and my time on my kayak. I am actually afraid of open water, and I used to panic in kayaks and canoes. You will never find me on a cruise ship, and I do not enjoy boating at all. So it is a big surprise to be so completely obsessed with our lake. Just another magical bonus. Come on. Come on, Betty. Come on, Betty. Come on.
All I know is I'm on my way to become a poor excuse of a better one.
Now here we are to number 7. I've surprised myself how in tune I am with our House on Wheels life. Maybe to you, changing out propane tanks at 4:30 in the morning is absolutely crazy. And maybe in the dead of winter, when the winds blow through our land like a hurricane, we are a little crazy. But to me, it comes naturally. To be honest, it gets easier to live this way the longer we live it. And the thought of an actual house gives me a little bit of anxiety. The fact that we have lived in an RV for 2 winters going on 3 is just very surprising to me.
I've come to realize time goes by on its own. I am stuck here without a home.
And can I just add here that I'm quite surprised that I can do the daily maintenance on it and check the status of it and troubleshoot weird sounds and smells. Feels kind of cool to be able to do that. Quickfire number 8. I was surprised how comfy cozy our land has been from the get-go. Even during our early and challenging off-grid stages, it's always felt like our home. I was actually expecting it to be very uncomfortable for a long while, and it has been the opposite. Now here we are to quickfire number 9. Manfriend and I would say at the beginning of our time here, like, wow, why does it seem like the sky here is bigger than anywhere? I mean, a sky is a sky. We all have one, but I assure you there is nothing like a Cape Breton sky. At last, we reach number 10, my most favorite surprise. I knew I would see them, and I knew I would love them, but I didn't know I would bond to them. The neighbors I never ever expected, Joey and Gail, my eagle mates. There are other honorable mentions, such as the water system we created, the gardens, the sanctuary with river, my beaver friends and fruit trees, and even this YouTube channel, to name a few. But of course, if I'm looking at the grand scheme of things, every part of our East Coast adventure has been one big surprise, hasn't it? I really love having you a part of every twist and turn. I hope you're inspired to believe that you can be any age and any stage in life and still follow your dreams. And I hope you come back to see me again soon. I'm sending you a big hug. Oh, yeah, and if you want to see me on social media, go find me on Instagram.